9:15. Welcome back to the morning show with Jeff and Will here on AM 1700 WRCR Haverstraw, WRCR.com. Welcome back, everybody. And at this time, we welcome in Tina Traster. She, of course, from RCBizJournal.com, talking about the latest goings on in Rockland County. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
I am well. Good morning, everybody. What a gorgeous weekend we've just had. And I wanted to give a shout out to the folks in the village of Haverstraw who put on an incredible food crawl yesterday. We were down there. We posted actually a little photo essay yesterday just that captured some of the beauty and excitement and exuberance of the event. It included the Amish Outlaws, very fun band, a lot of energy. I'm told 4,500 people attended this. So kudos to them for, pulling together their 10th annual food crawl and really spotlighting the best of what the village of Haverstraw has to offer. Also, just wanted to mention, the Phoenix Theater Festival in Nyack, which is in its third year, and that is through September 22nd. Just, some good things going on in the county. Wanted to just put that out there and note that. In other news, we published a story, I guess it was late last week, about, this is about illegal housing. You think of municipal zoning as a social contract, and there's a reasonable expectation that homeowners and landlords in residential zones will adhere to the codes, or is there? We're seeing this like tsunami of illegal housing from rural Stony Point to suburban Clarkstown to urban Spring Valley, and I think it's everywhere. There was a situation, I don't know if it's under control yet, of just recently a Valley Cottage homeowner advertising hourly rentals of a backyard pool on Swimply, that online site. Mm-hmm. And it's so bodacious. The ad says renters can rent the pool for $150 per hour, bring large crowds, and play blaring music. I mean, it's like, wow. It's like, what part of civility is not in any of that thought? But anyway, the story that we highlighted in this piece, although it's emblematic, the problem is the time with which the neighbors have to suffer. The common strand is that, as Stony Point Supervisor Jim Monahan said, is that the process is, his quote is, the process has turned into a long drawn-out problem. Albany has made laws to protect the defendants. In the meantime, homeowners get sick, suffer, and are stressed out. And I think those are very, very true words. In this case that we highlighted, so a neighbor for 2 years has been living next door to, it's a house with 3 families, plus there's a garage. And in that garage, the landlord, homeowner, rents it out, and has been renting it out to a motorcycle club. So this
nice. Oh God.
I know. So the families around this are listening to the revving engines, the idling of bikes, the crowds partying on weekends, the music, and then that, the coming and going of that jarring noise that are motorcycles. Okay. No offense to motorcycles, but nobody would. The reason why that's illegal is because that's a commercial use. And so the homeowner, Moshe Messner, has been in court for over a year, but it drags on. Now, funny enough, he's due in court today, 5 o'clock, in front of Justice Frank Phillips. And we will see, where this one goes. But there's a playbook, and the playbook is that these landlords, they show up or they don't show up. They show up without attorneys. They tell the courts that they need time. They tell the courts that they're having trouble evicting their tenants. In this case, for example, we got the landlord on the phone, and he literally said to us, this situation has been resolved, and it's all settled with the town and the court. Just untrue. We checked with the justice. We checked with the town officials and the building department. Just untrue. So it's all down to profiteering. Getting the most out of these houses that they buy, and then typically these illegal landlords own more than one property, and they figure out that this is a template. And what our article seems to have spurred, well, apart from all the email that I've gotten and leads, I can see that there's a lot of discussion right now of people doing the work, I guess, that building inspectors must do, and that is to root out where this is going on and get on top of it. And if it means hiring more building department officials, then that's where towns and villages need to put their resources. I mean, there's a lot of spending that goes on all the time, but this is a real problem and a real crisis. And in the case of one neighbor, she was describing to me how this is physically. She's already been dealing with an ailment, but how this has made her sicker, and that just made me feel sick too. So anyhow, that is. We in this story we added at the bottom that if you're encountering an illegal home conversion and would like to tell us about it, even if it's confidential, send us an email because we want to know, and we want to really get this issue out and try to understand the scope of it here in the county. And sure, public officials are going to say this is not specific to Rockland County. That's maybe true, but this is where we all live. And they're going to say that they're understaffed, and I think the answer to that is then beef up that department. And one other thing that Jim Monahan did say is that they would like, the Stony Point wants to hire an attorney specifically for this issue. So I hope he does. I hope he follows through on that. I hope all the towns start getting a lot more aggressive about this issue.
We do have a caller, but before we get to the caller, real quick, I did want to ask you, is there a distinction to be drawn between the situation you're describing and the one that's been ongoing in Orangetown with the former farm that has become a cidery and operating in a neighborhood?
Yeah, no, that's totally different. What we're
well, some of the neighbors don't think so.
Okay, but here, so what we're talking, okay, let me tell you what the distinction is. With the cidery, that's a commercial property trying to change its use. And that might have even been possible with and may still be possible with a text amendment and a zone change. Now, what's happening here with illegal conversions is there's no landlord, say, who could go to a zoning board in any town or village and say, can you change the zoning so that I can turn a residential property with a shed or a garage into a motorcycle club, a commercial use. There's nobody who could say, can I rent out my swimming pool by the hour? And there's nobody who can say, can I buy a house and have 20 people boarding in it, day laborers boarding in it, so that a landscaper can have his crew stuffed into a house with guys sleeping on the floor on mattresses. So it's two different things. We're talking about residential use, remaining residential use, and the towns are pretty consistent about what their ordinances say or their codes say, which is that single family homes need to be occupied by single families. So it's it's all part of I guess under the umbrella of how zoning is used, and we do find situations where there's conflict, like the cidery, for sure. But that's conflict, and that's in the commercial zone, and that's about how that property can be used and whether or not it's a agricultural use. Illegal housing is a different kettle of fish. It's a major crisis in this county. It's not just because of illegal immigrants streaming into the county recently. This has been going on for a long time. It's a fire and safety issue, and it's also an incredible headache to people who have to live next to it.
And speaking of the fire and safety issue, we do have former Director of Fire and Emergency Services, Gordon Wren, on the line. Good morning, Gordon.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Tina. Great topic, Jan. And by the way, I think you're right about the Perover situation. And I also believe, that was a legal use to begin with. And then they pushed the envelope a little bit and started live entertainment and things of that nature. And I think the town issued violations and took them to court to stop them from the live entertainment. And then they were going to the boards to try and get approval or interpretation of the zone change. So, it's a big difference. And the case of Stony Point or many other cases around the town. So I'd just like to emphasize at Stony Point, I met with the town supervisor and his excellent fire inspector and building inspector a while back, and I suggest they increase their fines, hire an attorney that has a background as a prosecutor, and get more people. And you do that without any expense to taxpayers by getting substantial fines for the people that are really putting people in danger and hitting them really, really, really hard. And that'll more than pay for the extra costs. And the Clark Center's been doing that pretty much. It shouldn't take 2 years to resolve. These are not that complex. And a good attorney would work with the inspectors and make this happen very quickly.
Agreed. It's the length of time that really is the outrage. 2 years. Why? Especially when thinking.
And thank you, Gordon. We appreciate your call. We do. Tina, do you see any relief in sight at this point, or you talked about they are in court today?
They are. They have a status conference today, and I'm really rooting for this homeowner and hoping that the courts once and for all, takes action and gets. I believe what it is that that a trial has not begun. They have to move from the slap on the back, we'll see you in a month, which is what goes on in the court, to let's put this on trial and start, issuing violations, fines for the violations, and incentivize these homeowners to do what they're supposed to do. That's the problem. It's the length of time that they're allowed to stretch it out that allows the homeowner, the landlord, to say, well, this is still working for me. I'm still earning a profit. The town hasn't, fined me yet. So, it's cost of doing business. Yeah, I'll show up in court once a month. That'll take me an hour out of my time. And in the meantime, I'll collect these rents, and there's no consequence. I mean, the system is set up for the landlord to prevail. So they need to be taken to court, and the courts need to do something.
What else? Real quick, we got about a minute left. What else is going on that you want folks to know about?
In another minute, I just want to say that a group of Republicans in Clarkstown have filed a suit. I don't know if you're aware of this. We just posted this, charging that the committee rule that precludes quote-unquote elected officials from running for or serving on the committee's executive board are illegal. The law prevents those quote elected officials, like someone like Lawler, or supervisors, councilmen, clerks, whatever, from serving on the executive committee or running for chairman. And the current chairman, Lawrence Garvey, who's held the position for 10 years, and is being sued for legal malpractice on another case and what have you. He is trying to keep this rule in place. So there is a court date. There's a TRO, a temporary restraining order was issued, and there's a court date coming up very soon. So we will keep you posted on this, because I think this is a very interesting issue as well. Wish we had more time to talk about it. Maybe next time there'll be more news on that.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Tina. As always, we'll talk to you again next Monday. Have yourself a great week. It's AM 1700 WRCR.